Hello and welcome back to the Small Fleet and Owner Operator Summit. I'm Anthony Smith and I am excited for this fireside chat. I have the honors to talk to and get to chat with for this segment, Grace Maher, COO over at OTR Solutions. Grace, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Anthony. It's awesome to get a chance to talk to you this morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Grace, it's an exciting time in the industry. It's definitely, a lot of changes have happened over the last few quarters here. We're not in the same market that we were throughout, 2021, 22. This is completely different now. And I'm excited just to get to hear from you, your perspective of some of the overarching themes that we're seeing going into this new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting, a little scary, a little, concerning for sure, especially as we talk about owner operators and small fleets. And I certainly would love to see the market, stop this downward decline, if you will. And, it's been a lot. It's very hard for our carriers, our clients at OTR Solutions and all of the owner operators in the industry right now. So, yeah, it's definitely taken quite some turns over the past several months.
And honing in on that, how can smaller operations, owner operators, small fleets really kind of utilize factoring companies and really be able to utilize that service throughout a down market? Because as you mentioned, we are in a downward market. A lot of folks saying it's very reminiscent or even worse than what we've seen in 2019. And we're looking at this current environment. What are going to be some of those advantages there?
Yeah, no, factoring is a way in which carriers can get paid quickly and reliably. This is what we do day in, day out, 7 days a week. And so when a carrier's on a load, they need to get paid. They need to be able to do that quickly. And I say, to our team every day, if someone sends in a bill, we don't know if that's paying for, a prescription drug or a truck note, their insurance, their family's, meal, they think that they've submitted an invoice, they need to get paid. And so it's so important that we make sure that happens. But in a market like what's been going on lately, cash flow is so important. The profits, and you need to understand your profit, your revenue per day, but you need to get paid quickly in order to keep that truck moving. And understanding the, health of brokers in the market. And if you're not factoring, how quickly are you getting paid? And so that's why, for OTR and the clients that we have here, it's so much more than just factoring. We're offering so many other ways in which we want to help carriers be able to, get through these next several months, which I'm sure we'll talk more about.
Yeah, and let's kind of dig into and dive into that a little bit more. How does OTR really partner with its customers and clients on really being able to help manage, I would say, even say credit risk during a down market that we're seeing right now?
Yes. So first of all, I want to mention a statistic that we stand by is that 30% of carriers who factor are more likely to be in business after 5 years than carriers who don't. That's just, that's a great stat for everyone to understand that that factoring as a partnership, we are there to help the owner operators and small fleets with the health of their business, being able to invoice and get paid for the loads, without having to hire someone, without having to chase down money, without having to be short paid and not be able to collect on, any of those accessorials that they may be owed. But from the credit perspective, not all brokers are created equal, whether they're going to pay in 45 days, 60 or 90, or you think you're paying, 4, 5, 6% for a quick pay fee, but you're not actually getting paid quickly. Now you're chasing down that money as well. Time is money. You want to be able to go to a factoring company, and at OTR, everyone receives a dedicated team. If you have a question, you call in. We do not have voicemail. I think that's an incredibly unique feature for us, is that we have incredible technology, but if you need to get someone on the phone, you always will, because money's personal. And if you've got questions about that, you want to get that resolved quickly. And so for OTR and the credit check side, we're also wanting to make sure our carriers understand that they can check the credit for a broker. And we do that because we obviously want to make sure if we're buying the bill, we're going to get paid back. But we do not require all of our carriers to factor every single invoice. And so that's a unique feature for OTR and something to compare when you're shopping for a factoring company. Because some factoring companies require you to factor every invoice, every load that you haul, you have to factor through that company. We don't have those requirements, although I'll tell you, our carriers will say if we won't buy it, they don't want to run it because we have been doing this. If there's a reason why we wouldn't purchase the bill, there's a reason why you may not want to take it yourself.
And Grace, one of the big things that I've heard, I mean, just over that last topic there was something I think important is that aren't taking the easy way out here. I mean, you're looking to really make sure that each individual customer and client has what they need when they need it. And can you talk to that aspect of really being able to make sure that you're not just offering a one size fits all? I mean, we're looking at, of course, different situations, different scenarios, different businesses. Can you talk to really, how important it is for different smaller operations or different companies in general to have that flexibility when working with someone like OGR?
Absolutely. The way that we see ourselves is we are a strategic partner for an owner operator. I want every client of ours to see us as a value add to their business, not necessarily just someone where they send invoices over and they hope that they get paid. Ultimately, we definitely want to provide the tools and services that help our clients be more successful in this industry, especially in a market like today. I think since 2023 started, we have had a handful of client focus groups. We are constantly talking to our clients and asking them what they need, and what we need to build to provide them. We consider ourselves, as I mentioned, a partner because so many other companies could just be more of like I'll tell you what you can do and I'll tell you what you can't do. You send it in at this time. It is either factorable or it's not. Whereas with us, if we can't approve a broker, you can call in and ask why. We're going to explain. If you need a little extra time because something happened, we're going to give you a little extra time to send over that invoice. If there's a chargeback or an offset issue, which happens, it does happen, and we try to make those very minimal. We'll work with our clients, to our carriers to make sure that, we understand if we take back $500 today, is that the difference between you being able to fuel up on the next load. Speaking of fuel, I'd love to talk about our fuel card, which I believe is the best in the industry. If you're not using our fuel card or you're not using a fuel card, you need to look into this as an owner operator. Our clients are saving an average of 50 cents per gallon, all the way up to, I think it's $1.50 that they can be saving. We have zero in-network transaction fees, which is huge. Zach, our national director of sales, came into my office this morning. He said we had a 2-truck trucking company that just signed on to the fuel card, called me and saved $1,000 per truck last month alone on the fuel card. We have a fuel finder within the app that will tell you where you can get the most savings. So if you're not using our fuel card, that's the first thing I would say you need to be looking into. And of course, the factoring as well, but we are more than just a factoring company. And we've got many solutions that we want to provide all of our clients and carriers to help them succeed.
And Grace, like you said, it's much more than a factoring company, definitely a strategic partner in a sense. And I mean, one of the big things when we're talking about, the foundation here at FreightWaves, our founder CEO, really, Craig Fuller is looking to bring some transparency to the market and really level the playing field. And it definitely sounds like this is a part of that same initiative here. I mean, we're thinking about all of the large mega carriers that have access to all of these, I would say instruments and tools. And really the smaller operations don't have any kind of way to get that. But it definitely sounds like through, working with someone like OTR Solutions, this is a possibility to really start leveling the playing field and really make it possible for a lot of smaller operations to operate and really be able to compete fairly here. When you're looking at the current freight market, the freight condition, what are you seeing in terms of newcomers to the industry that maybe they came into the industry when, this market was just absolutely booming, and thinking of 2021 going into 22 maybe, and now we're seeing this down freight market. Are you partnering with many smaller operations that maybe this is their first down cycle and really helping them navigate it all together?
Yeah, Anthony, for sure. I think education is crucial, especially right now. Just, rewind a year and a half ago, and there was so much plastered on social media about how much money you can make being in trucking and how, you get in and, it's as if the freight ferry shows up and everybody makes $1 million. And it's just honestly, not the truth of the matter. It's incredibly tough. There are so many obligations that an owner operator and small fleet either required to meet, safety and compliance and, just the expenses alone, any repair, any kind of issue. It is a tough, tough business. And we definitely understand that. Truth be told, I think that, over the past several months, some of the new entrants that came into the market over a year ago probably thought that that was the norm. Unfortunately, we knew that it wasn't. And there was a lot of conversation about put some savings away, because if you've been in this industry for any long period of time, you understand it's very cyclical and the highs are high and the lows are low. And, you've got to prepare for both. And so it's understanding your, cost per truck, cost per revenue per day, what it's going to take to be profitable, but every little bit matters, and that's what we're talking about when you're looking at your factoring fees. You need to be looking at your contracts. What is in there exactly? Are there minimums? Are there tiered discounts based on when the brokers pay? Can the factor, increase your factoring fee at any time? We've been very transparent, as you just spoke about, we've been very transparent with our carriers. We're trying to do everything we can to help them understand that, they've got to get through this. And we're also very conscientious about, pushing those fuel discounts.
So, Grace, of course, in my mind, chief economist here at FreightWaves, I'm thinking interest rates. And of course, this has been a theme that has been going on since, the latter half of 2022, now going into 2023, still a thing. How is this impacting OTR solutions and really the factoring landscape as a whole?
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. That's it's so true. I think in this environment, factoring companies are making adjustments, and this is when that fine print within the contract really matters. We've seen other factoring companies increasing factoring discounts, and in fact, OTR is willing, we run a contract review. There's no obligation. It costs nothing, but we believe that every owner operator in small fleet deserves that transparency to understand what type of contract are they in and what kind of rates are potentially, will they be affected by as increases can happen. We are not doing that. We have, we have no minimums. There's no tiered rate structure, no hidden fees. We're very transparent. We have no intention of raising our factoring fee. And, it's really important that carriers understand exactly what that looks like. And we know they've seen those increases. That said, I'd like to mention that this summer we're really excited to be releasing a product that will significantly reduce the factoring fees for our carriers and clients. And it's a little bit of a tease. I can't say too much about it, but it's something to be extremely excited about and brand new in the market. And yet again, another way in which we think about how we can support the carriers in this industry to help them be more successful while, taking a little bit of that cost off their plate that we know that they would love to eliminate it.
Grace, I'm excited for that upcoming product, so I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open and ears to the ground on the latest coming from OTR Solutions. But as we mentioned earlier, it is an exciting time, it's a scary time, and it's definitely I think, crucial time to make sure that you are doing all you can to make sure that you're running efficiently. And it definitely sounds like really working with a transparent and flexible OTR Solutions like company where you can really be able to I think level some of the playing field, especially if you're a smaller operation, is just so crucial, especially during this time of the market that we're seeing right now. So Grace, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, Anthony. I really appreciate it.
And thank you all so much for tuning in. That's going to do it for this fireside chat. But of course, there's plenty more content coming up. Stay tuned.